I thought I was finally safe in my bed. But then, a cold breath brushed against my skin, and I realized something terrifying. I wasn't alone. And what happened next? You won't believe. I lay in bed that night, convinced it would be just another quiet evening. The hum of the city outside was distant, the faint glow of the lamp painting a soft blue haze across my room. My body slowly sank into the mattress, muscles unwinding, mind drifting toward that fragile space between wakefulness and sleep. But even in that calm, something inside me felt off. A weight I couldn't explain pressed faintly against my chest, not crushing, but enough to remind me I wasn't entirely alone. At first, I told myself it was nothing, just exhaustion, the tricks a tired mind plays in the dark. But then the air shifted, heavier, thicker. My breath caught for no reason at all. The silence around me seemed to hum with energy, as if the very shadows had come alive. I pulled the blanket tighter across my waist, but a strange awareness kept crawling across my skin. The sense of eyes on me, watching, waiting. And then it happened. A brush of coldness against the back of my leg, so light I thought it might have been a muscle twitch, but it wasn't. It lingered, tracing upward, deliberate, slow. My heart pounded so violently that I could hear it echo in my ears. I froze, too terrified to move, yet unable to stop myself from feeling every second of that invisible touch. I whispered inside my head, "This can't be real." But the mattress disagreed. It dipped, gently at first, then heavier, as if someone had lowered themselves beside me. My eyes shot open, but the room looked the same. Curtains still, furniture untouched, the faint lamp glow steady. Yet the weight near my hip told me otherwise. I wasn't imagining this. Something shifted closer. I felt the warmth of breath along the nape of my neck, so near that my skin prickled instantly. I held my breath, but it made no difference. The presence knew I was awake. My blanket tugged slightly, not ripped away, but teased, like unseen fingers were testing how much I'd resist. I wanted to scream, but my voice stayed buried in my chest. The most terrifying part? A small part of me didn't want it to stop. My body trembled, torn between panic and a dangerous curiosity. Every nerve screamed at me to run, but a deeper pull whispered to stay still and wait. And just as I thought I couldn't bear the silence any longer, I felt it again, firmer this time. Fingers invisible yet undeniable tracing the curve of my waist. My breath came sharp and shallow, my chest rising against the crushing tension in the air. The night wasn't going to let me rest, not tonight, but what came next was only the beginning. The mattress dipped further, slow and deliberate, as if invisible knees pressed into the sheets beside me. My body stiffened, every instinct screaming to move, but I was trapped, not by force, but by the terrifying weight of anticipation. My breath quickened, shallow and uneven, the silence broken only by the sound of my own heartbeat thundering inside my ears. Something brushed my shoulder, feather-light, almost tender. It lingered for a moment before sliding downward, tracing the curve of my arm with a precision that felt far too human to dismiss as imagination. My skin burned beneath the invisible path, each inch leaving behind a trail of fire and fear. I tried to convince myself again, this is just a dream. You'll wake up any second. But dreams don't press against you like this. Dreams don't breathe into your hair, low and steady, as if memorizing the rhythm of your life. Dreams don't make the fabric of your shirt lift by itself, tugged gently by unseen fingers. the blanket pulled tighter around my legs, but not by my doing. It was being adjusted, shifted, until the cool air of the room kissed against my bare skin. My toes curled instinctively, my body betraying me as a shiver ran through me. A shiver not just of fear, but of something darker I didn't dare name. I squeezed my eyes shut, praying it would end, but that only made the other senses sharper. I felt it lean closer, so close that the warmth of a presence pressed against my back, not quite touching but undeniable. My hair stirred, not from my own breath, but from the steady exhale of something directly behind me. And then, the whisper. Low, intimate, not words I could understand, but sounds meant only for me. My chest tightened, my pulse faltered. Whatever it wasn't trying to harm me. No. It wanted me to feel this, to remember it, to carry it with me long after the night was gone. The mattress shifted again, more weight pressing down, and I could sense it circling me, like a predator savoring its prey. My leg twitched, and immediately I felt the faintest grip around my ankle holding me in place. Not painful, just enough to remind me I wasn't in control, and then, just as quickly, the hand, or whatever it was, slid upward, brushing the length of my calf, stopping briefly at my knee, then tracing higher. I bit my lip, terrified a sound might escape me, but unable to suppress the heat flooding through my body. I told myself I should fight, I should scream, I should run, but my body had already chosen silence. My body had already betrayed me, and that was when I realized the night wasn't over. It had only just begun. The room was so quiet that every creak of the bed, every shift of fabric sounded deafening. I could feel the air growing heavier, charged, as though the very walls were holding their breath. My body was pinned in place by nothing visible, yet the weight of it pressed against me like a command. I wanted to scream, but the sound died in my throat, swallowed by the silence. Then it happened. A hand, unseen but undeniable, slid across my hip, slow and deliberate, curving around my waist as though it had every right to claim me. My breath hitched, my chest rising in sharp, shallow gasps. Fear coursed through me, but tangled within it was a heat I didn't want to acknowledge, a dangerous pull that kept me from resisting. The whisper returned, closer now, brushing against my ear. I couldn't make out the words, but the intent was clear. It wasn't leaving, not yet. My skin prickled under every breath it exhaled, as though each wordless sound branded me. Suddenly, the mattress sank deeper near my legs. I felt the pressure of knees indenting the sheets, inching closer. The blanket shifted again, sliding down until my thighs were bare to the cool air. My legs tensed, but then against my will they relaxed, opening slightly, betraying the fear I clung to. I hated the way my body answered its presence, but I couldn't stop. And then I felt it, the warmth of a breath moving across the back of my neck, drifting lower until it hovered just above my shoulder. My entire body went rigid, waiting, dreading, craving. Fingers ghosted along my arm again, curling lightly at my wrist, almost tender, almost possessive. It didn't need to hold me down. It knew I wasn't going anywhere. I wanted it to end. I wanted it to continue. My thoughts collided until I could no longer tell which voice was mine and which belonged to the thing in the room. And just when I thought I would break from the tension, it stopped. The weight lifted from the mattress, the touch vanished, and the air around me cleared, leaving me trembling, gasping, empty. For a moment I thought I was free, But then I saw it. At the foot of my bed, 2 deep indentations remained pressed into the blanket. They didn't fade, they didn't vanish. They stayed, carved into the fabric, as if marking me, claiming me. The whisper came one last time, so faint I almost doubted it was real. One word carried on a breath that brushed my lips. Mine. And then it was gone. The room looked the same, silent, undisturbed. But I knew better. I knew it hadn't left. It had only stepped back, watching, waiting for another night. I haven't slept peacefully since, and deep down, I don't think I ever will. Have you ever felt something touch you in the dark when you knew you were alone? Share your story in the comments. Subscribe to Paranormal Sleep for more chilling encounters, because the next one might be yours.